Joe, the sleeper film of 1970, which launched Peter Boyle's career. Save the Tiger, for which Jack Lemmon won an Oscar.
He also knew that you don't treat every actor the same way. There's a way to reach you, there's a way to reach me, there's a way to reach him. You approach actors differently as you get to know them. And he had very good instincts about how to reach people.
My father was always making home movies. He made home movies long before I was born. He had a Bell and Howell Filmo, and one of my earliest memories are holding up the sign with the date and the place, and that would start off each of the home movies. So I grew up looking at this guy with this camera in front of his face.
The first two Karate Kid films, which together grossed over $200 million in domestic theatrical release, and most recently the box office hit Lean on Me, starring Morgan Freeman. John Avildsen also worked for years as his own director of photography and served 2 terms as president of New York Cinematographers Union Local 644. In addition, he has also been a professor of film at Columbia University.
No, hold it for a second. No, what I was talking about was, yeah, that pan came to rest on the guy's jacket with Peters on his thing. Now, the next cut, all right, I found the dialogue very predictable and too much of it and sort of redundant. The payoff is good.
Put her out of focus.
Yeah, the longer lens has less depth of field, so she's going to be fuzzy. My eye will go to you more, and the frame gets more compressed, so it's full of interesting information. Also, what's nice about a clean close-up is you don't have to worry about matching the other person. The other person's talking like that when you're doing their side of it. Then when they're giving the lines to the other person, they're like that. Then you cut back and forth, and it's not so terrific because the head's not bobbing the way it was in the other shot. So overs are more difficult to match, but I think often they're more pleasing. Well, listen, it's not a new idea, you know.
No, but it's amazing.
Yeah, but it does make you feel more like you're seeing a movie, and you can see what's going on in his face more, and she's still there, and somehow you're more like sort of, you know, peeking in on their life and what's going on. In other words, if you could be invisible, if you would be the fly on the wall, that's where you'd put yourself probably. And we never see this guy sit down. He's just, boom, suddenly there. We don't even hear him. And we don't see the other guy sort of follow him with his eyes to get him down. Also, when you have shots like this that are empty and then suddenly the guy comes in, it's a distraction. And then when he leans back out again, excuse me, because it may be well composed for a while he's there, but then he disappears and it looks, and you start thinking about that rather than paying attention to the story and being involved. Also, you want to, you know, you got everybody looking away from the camera, and we really want to be around on the other side. We feel sort of left out, and all we get to see is the Venetian blinds. This is nice. This kind of angle, I think, is, you know, we know he had a presence back there. We can see this guy without the other guy seeing him, so he can show us stuff that he's not showing to the other guy, and it sucks us in more. See, for instance, why couldn't you have gotten, I mean, was the exercise you had to do in the office?
No.
I mean, he could have gone, the lawyer could have gone to the restaurant and it was having some soup or something, discovers this, that they were closed, right? It makes him much more interesting than having somebody tell him. If, in other words, the more, I think that's it, Eric, thanks. The more you can have your central character do, the better, rather than be told things or have somebody else do it for them or whatever. The more adversity that the hero has and the more things that he can do or she do, the more interesting it is. And you should also think that you're going to cut this in the camera while we're doing it. It's not going to get all the shots that way and then all the shots that way, and then we'll take care of it later. You got to be doing this while.
Okay. I'm not on the spot though.
In other words, you're going to we're ending up with this.
Right. She's
right?
looking up.
And then the next cut, Keith, would be like this. So here she'd be in the right-hand side of the frame, or you could put her on the left, and she could be looking up to the right. But I think when you come over, you'd want to stick her in the right and lead to the left.
Right.
So she's going to be in the right-hand side of the frame. Now when you come over here to get this one,
Right.
boom, now she's over in the left, right?
That's weird.
Right. So what you might want is a single
Right.
on him
Okay.
for a line, and then you can cut back to this
Perfect.
for her line, because she's looking this way anyway,
Fine. So I
probably
wouldn't,
into the
I wouldn't be
magazine.
like essentially over her. I'd just be on him, and then
Yeah,
down,
so
then
this,
back
this
into
one
it.
gets you, starts on this and comes over to her.
Right.
And then
I
the
understand.
next one is the
On
guy
him.
who we've heard.
And then we go back to
And
both
now
of
we
them.
get a
Then we
a
can get all
two-shot.
this business over here on the longer shot, although we may want to do
Yeah,
something
but you're
there.
cutting it in the camera.
I'm cutting in the camera now, but I can go one shot at a time, right?
Yeah, when you got to, in other words, after this shot, you want to get his.
I understand. And action.
You gotta understand, I've come all the way from Chicago. I know I've been bothering you, but I mean, can you just tell me whether Mr. Katz
Look,
has
I'm
looked at my
really
screenplay or
busy,
not?
and I'd like to get some work done. Could you just please have a seat?
Okay.
So now we go to him, and you could be saying, yeah, I bet it's real busy around here. Show business must be really exciting. And you get to see it all,
See
I
all
guess,
this?
huh?
This is wonderful.
And then you can
And,
say-
and then we could go to the wide shot
Uh-huh.
as she's absorbing the magazine, and she's saying, yeah, real exciting.
I can imagine how exciting it must be to work in this office and everything, show business and all. It's
Very exciting.
Now, am I right if I cut him off right about the waist? Does that sound right?
Oh, I think you ought to be
Tighter.
in something like this, I would
Okay.
think.
It's hard to think about all this at once, but it's hard. I have to cut on a pause. I have to cut when he's quiet. I just assumed I'd cut in the middle of it and pull back. When he gives the line.
No, I don't think you'd want to cut
Exciting
to
in this
two-shot
business.
in the middle of his yakking, as
Uh-huh.
opposed to him saying something, and then you motivate the cut
The mo-
to the
this-
two-shot with her
Let me
answer.
explain to you what I thought, and maybe it's wrong. I thought that when he said, this must be really exciting business, I cut. And she's going to respond, yeah, it's really exciting. Showing that the motivation is, it must be exciting business.
Then have him do it again, where the end of his little
That'll work.
speech is, this must be really an exciting business.
Then the problem is he kept talking.
Tell him
Okay,
to
then you ought to have a talk with his agent.
stop. Recast.
Tell him not to.
I understand, fine.
In his early career, Avildsen took on various assignments on such films as Hurry Sundown, directed by Otto Preminger, and starring Michael Caine and Jane Fonda. He also supplemented his income by making industrial films for such clients as IBM and Clairol.
Up until that time, I'd worked on a lot of